Welcome back to our rifle bipod series, and in this video we are going to do a Magpul bipod review. We've got two Magpul options here as far as the way they attach to your rifle. We're going to look at some of the details on these, how they fit, how they function, and why you might pick one of these for your rifle setup. If you didn't catch our other video on the general differences between these Magpul bipods and some of the others we're reviewing here in this series, go check that out. I'll put a card up here for you to check out for yourself, as well as a link in the description. And I'll put a link to our social media accounts and our website, backwoodzpursuit.com, down in the description. Go check that out. There's a ton of gear reviews over there that might interest you. But let's dive into this Magpul bipod review and see how these things work and how they function. So what we've got here are two different models of the same Magpul bipod. Both of these are basically identical except for the way they attach to your rifle. This one here is the QD attachment, so it allows you to unscrew this here. If you don't have a Picatinny rail or something like that on your rifle, which a lot of hunting rifles don't, that's what this is for. So it has some clamps on the inside there that allow you to attach right to your sling stud right there. Comes off pretty quick and easy. Now you do have a couple of size options of this little rubber piece right here that interchanges. So if you have, like, this is a very small forehand right here on this stock, so you want to use the smaller size. It comes with a larger one as well. If you have one like this Boyd stock that is larger, you may want to use the larger size for that. So it gives you the options there depending on what route you want to go. So this allows you to really use a Magpul bipod for just about any rifle out there, because just about every rifle comes with a sling stud. At least most hunting rifles do. Now this one here is the one that attaches to a Picatinny rail. There's two flathead screws right there that really solidly attach that to your Picatinny rail. I won't take that off right now, but they're the same bipod, just this one attaches to a Picatinny rail. Now this is a Boyd stock. Normally a Boyd stock comes with two sling studs right here. So I took those off and put this Picatinny rail on, and so it allows me to attach a Picatinny rail type of a bipod if I want to do that. So this one works really well for that. I really like how solid that attachment is. I would say that Picatinny rail attachment is more solid than the sling stud attachment, but they both work really, really well that way. Now, as far as the weight and sizes of these, the one that attaches to your sling stud is heavier. It's 13 ounces. Whereas the Picatinny rail attachment comes in at 11 ounces, so you save a little bit of weight with the Picatinny rail attachment. They both are the same height, 6.3 to 10.3 inches, and so you don't have any differences that way. Now, as far as the way the legs deploy here, I really like the way these deploy. It's a push button right here, and you just push that and it deploys all the way out. It's really smooth and really nice that way. It's not a grimy feel or whatnot. It really allows you to do that quickly and easily. And it looks like there's little grooves on the inside here that give you those stopping points. It looks like about a ½ inch apart there. So it allows you to adjust that however you need to. If you need one side, of course, longer than the other, you can do that as well. The other thing I really like about these is just how smooth these deploy. So you got a push button or spring button right there, and it springs back into place. Whereas some, you got to put them all the way back up into place. That's really nice. The other thing I really like about the way that these deploy is that you don't have to push that button if you want to deploy the bipod. You can just grab it and pull it down, and it clicks into place. You can't do the inverse. It's locked into place there, but it does allow you to do that, so you don't have to take quite as much time to get that if you're needing to get set up for a quick shot. Really like that. The other thing that's nice about both of these is you've got the ability here underneath here on the underneath side here to change the tension for the cant. Both of these do cant, which allows you to make sure your rifle is level for those shots that you take out in the field, because I don't know about you, but I'm rarely on a nice level surface when I'm having to take a shot out in the field. Allows you to do that really nicely and easily. You can screw that tighter or looser depending on what you want to do. So if you want it to really almost flop around like that, you can. Or if you want to tighten that down a little bit more, you can do that, and that's going to stay in place real nice for you. So you can set it up however you want that way. Really works well. Now, one of the unique things about these Magpul bipods you may have heard about, you may not have, they're known to have a wobble to them. And you'll see here, when we move this back and forth, they wobble a fair amount. And you might think, that's terrible, I don't want that. I mean, I kind of honestly thought that when I first put it on here. I was like, man, that thing really wobbles a lot. If I'm wanting to put a bipod on here, I want that to be rock solid. Of course, you extend that out all the way to the highest height, it's even more, because obviously the longer you make that, the more unstable it's going to be. That's across the board any bipod. So how this is really designed to work is that when you're going to make your shot, you're really designed to load this before the shot. And by load that, I mean when you're behind the gun here, you are going to push into the front end of that, create that little bit of tension there. And really, once you kind of get used to that and learn that, it really is a nice solid bipod. It didn't bother me at all. I really liked it. Let's jump to the range here. I'll show you how this thing reacted down at the range when I was shooting it. And this is a 7mm Remington Magnum. So it's a Magnum caliber that has a fair amount of recoil. So this is a shot here with this Magpul bipod, and really it did a good job. It shot a whole bunch with it like this, and I really came to where I liked the way that this was set up. I really like, even though it's wobbly, you get used to that, and you kind of get used to how it moves and shifts. And when you're preparing for that shot, you really get used to that, and then it kind of becomes second nature for getting that thing lined up. So, some people aren't going to like that, and I totally understand that, but I got used to it, and it really wasn't a big deal. The other thing that these things offer you is, of course, you have the ability to track as well with these. And again, that's partially affected by how much you tension that. You're going to have, it's looser. If you loosen this nut here on the bottom, it's going to track easier with less tension than if you tighten that down. That affects both the cant and how easily that tracks for you. So it's really nice that it has both of those. That's really critical for me when I'm looking for a bipod for my hunting rifle, because the animals are never standing still, so they're going to be moving. You need to be able to track, as well as things are never on a flat ground, it seems like, so you need to be able to cant your rifle like that and make sure that that is going to stay level when you're making those shots. So that's the Magpul bipod. It is different than the others, and it has more of that wobble, more of that play than anything else that we've looked at here today. Again, it's something you get used to and you learn how to shoot with, leaning into that shot and loading that shot. Once you kind of get the hang of that, it really shoots really well, and I really like the way that it functions and works. Really like the way that how smooth these legs are and how easily and quickly they deploy. It's one of my favorites that way. It's just you grab it and you put it in place. Really like that. It works really well. It's lightweight, 11 to 13 ounces depending on which model you get, and it's less expensive, so you don't have to spend a fortune to pick one of these up, 110 to 130 bucks, as opposed to up over 300 bucks for some of those other ones. So it's a great option for a lightweight style rifle that gives you that good stability. So go check that out if it sounds like something that's interesting to you. Thanks for joining us here today. Make sure you check out our next video on one of these other bipods here. We're going to check out all 6 of these bipods that we've been looking at in this series. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.